Hey guys, Brandon and Cubby from Nerdlocker.com, and we have some comic reviews for you.
We got some awesome DC and Marvel books for you this week, but we also have some amazing Dark Horse, IDW, and of course, Image books for you as well. So let's check these out.
I'm ready.
Hey there guys, Cubby here with my comic reviews for this week. I got to read Avengers vs. X-Men round 10, and wow, this story's really heating up. And I don't mean just by the Phoenix Fire, I'm talking Dragon Fire. I don't want to spoil too much, but holy crap, Hope does some crazy stuff. It's been leading up to, it's been teased at, we've all known this is coming. This is the moment Hope shows up, shows Cyclops what's up, and I gotta say I'm really, really excited to see where this goes from there. The Phoenix Force, it looks like it's really fragmented, it's all over the place. No one holding that power knows what to do with it anymore. It's kind of overwhelming everyone. The Dark Phoenix is starting to come out. All the drama's coming out. I can't wait Professor Xavier to step in. He's gonna be the wild card that no one expected. So definitely check this out. I'm giving this issue 4 out of 5 Nerd Skulls just for sheer excitement. Check it out, guys.
So Invincible 94 came out this week, and as you all know, this book always excites me, so I'm always going to give it a high rating, but in this issue, we get the big reveal as to what was going on between Rexplode and Monster Girl, and that's pretty much been all we've been getting in the last few issues. Nothing regarding Invincible, or not much regarding Adam Eve, but I'm not upset about that fact. I really wanted to know what was going on between Rexplode and Monster Girl, and finally, they gave us exactly what we've been asking for this whole time. So this is the issue you want to read. The next one is going to kind of tie it all up, hopefully, and then maybe get us back into what's going on with Invincible, because there was a big reveal this week that someone will die in Invincible issue 100. So it's getting down to the wire. I'm very scared, and this issue was a good read. I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
Hey guys, Brandon here, and I got to read Before Watchmen, Rorschach #1. This is the book I've been most waiting for in the Before Watchmen series, because you got Lee Bermejo art and Brian Azzarello writing. I love that team together, and they do not disappoint. This is such an awesome book. You really get the feel of how dark of a character Rorschach is, and you get to see him operating on his own, which is something a lot of the other books really haven't shown a lot of. Everybody's kind of teaming up with somebody else, and this is cool. You get to see Rorschach being Rorschach, which is something I was always interested in when I read The Watchmen, because he seemed like the only real kind of crime fighter, like the only guy doing it because he doesn't like evil and wants to stop that. So this is a very good book. I highly recommend it. I'm giving it 5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
Hey nerds, I am reviewing Batwoman #12, and I really enjoy this series. I read the first trade, and the artwork has just always stuck with me. It's very beautiful, and the story is very strong as well. In this issue specifically, you see both Batwoman and Wonder Woman, and it's kind of cool to see them meet up at the end, but it's more about Wonder Woman fighting more of the urban legends, and in this one specifically, it's Bloody Mary. So you get to see Batwoman kind of figure out the mystery behind Bloody Mary and go on with the rest of the story. I don't want to ruin it too much. But she does meet up with Wonder Woman, and I am excited to see where this series goes, because after reading the first trade, it's interesting seeing other female characters meet up. So for right now, I give this a 5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls, and I hope that it stays at the pace that it's going.
All right, guys, I also got to read Victories #1 of 5. It's a very limited run by Michael Avon Oeming. I was expecting something a little more cartoony, actiony. Like, he has that style. It's very, very stylized, very cartoony, mouse guard-ish. But it definitely surprised me within the first 2 pages. It's cussing and beheadings and ultra-violence and just the cool stuff that you know happens in comic books, but you don't see it because it's always toned down. It's going on, it's happening. There's an MFer tattoo on the main bad guy who's kind of a good guy. You don't know because it's only the first issue. Really exciting, really interesting. I like the world that they're introducing, the anthropomorphic characters and dudes that are like Batman, but really, really messed up and actually drink alcohol and let it affect them like a real person would. Other than that, artwork was amazing. Did some really, really interesting panels and splash pages concerning, you know, just going through emotions and things like that. That played with the monologue really well. I love when comic book artists do that, especially when it's a writer-artist doing exactly what he wants to do. I'm going to highly recommend this book, and I cannot wait for this to go out, finish up, wrap up its story arc. I'm going to give it 5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
So Revival 2 came out this week, and I had not read #1 yet, but I took the chance to catch up with #2 coming out this week, and thank God I did, because I would have been a little bit confused in issue 2. Thankfully, this issue was, I mean, just incredible. And reading them back to back was even better. So I want to say that the artwork is amazing. Mike Norton is doing the artwork. Tim Seeley's writing the book, and he's doing a fantastic job. The book moves along, and it's not a zombie book. That's the most surprising thing. I think when I read the preview in the back of in a Walking Dead issue, it really kind of felt like a zombie book, but it is not. It's people are coming back to life, but they're very conscious, and they know what they're back to life. You know, they go back to their jobs. Very interesting story and a very interesting take on people coming back to life. I highly recommend it, and I'm going to give it 5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
Got to read Green Lantern 12. I have no idea where Jeff Johns is going with this series, but I'm totally on board to keep reading and find out what's happening. This was an awesome issue. We got more Hal Jordan and Sinestro, and this time they're fighting zombies because the Black Hand's back. And Hal Jordan really takes care of him for a second, something totally out of character. And we get to see more of the Book of Black and what's inside there. And there's a big revelation with Hal Jordan. And like I said, I don't know where Jeff Johns is going with this, but it is awesome. I'm totally along for this Green Lantern ride. Can't wait to see where we go with it. 5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls, easy.
Hey, Kit here, and I am reviewing Catwoman number 12. This issue started off really strong for me, and it kind of died down as the pages started leaving my hands, but I did enjoy it. In this issue, the villain Dollmaker is in it, and Catwoman is trying to crack the case and get everything settled down. Well, she tracks down the Dollmaker, and you find out that she is harvesting sex workers and homeless children and harvesting their organs and turning them into dolls. So she literally has a dollhouse filled with all these people, these mannequins that she's turned actual humans into. It's a little creepy, I will admit that, but it is a good issue to read. It kind of has the thriller aspect to it, but like I said, towards the end it does die down a little bit, so for that I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
All right, so I got to read Battle Beasts number 2 this week. Now, I've never read this book, never heard of it, did not know what it was about, just saw the cover with these cool, giant, buff beasts with swords and axes and things and falcons and whatnot. I was intrigued. I just wanted to take it out and see what kind of crazy action story it can give me. I was not disappointed. Craziness, secret hidden weapons that have been hidden on Earth for years are being uncovered. People are tasked with the task of picking it up and finding it for these people. She does not know what's going on, the main character, Bliss Reynolds. It felt a little disjointed. It felt like a very new comic book writer was taking it over and didn't really know how to develop the story as well. It's the second issue and I did miss the first, so I might be missing out on some story right there, and I need to go back and read it. But this issue, I think a second issue could do more to kind of catch you up and introduce you to the world. It did a pretty decent job. There's some things you pick up and you kind of figure out, but definitely check it out. Pick up the first issue too because it's a great ride. Just a little weird with the writing and a little weird with the dialogue, but I'm going to give it 3.5 Nerd Skulls.
So I know you guys have probably been curious about what my thoughts about The Walking Dead have been. In the last few issues, I haven't been able to review them, but I've been definitely catching up on it. And 101 came out this week, and it is so surprising what happened with 100, and I was still in shock picking up 101. You know, the art's always fantastic. Cliff Rathburn is amazing, and I'm really glad that he's still doing this book. But, I mean, Robert Kirkman never ceases to surprise us on who exactly will get hurt in these books. And 101 was just such a depressing book, but in a very, very good way. I want to know exactly how Rick is going to respond to what happened and what he's going to do, because I think this is probably his breaking point. I think this is where we're going to see him go crazy and finally you know, screw some people over. So I'm really excited for where this book goes, and plus, I got to check out a very exclusive Ghost variant. It's very, very limited edition. The cover is really great, and Comic Oasis here in Las Vegas has it, so check them out. Not too many shops have this cover, so check it out and look for it, but I'm going to give Walking Dead 101 5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
All right, I got a chance to read The Crow, number 2. I always enjoyed these movies when I was younger, and I was a comic book before then. Didn't really get to read a lot of that, but got to read this one, and it really does a good feel. I felt like I was watching The Crow. I felt like that classic feeling I got from that story, and it really has a good grip on the character. The artwork is really neat. I like how it's set in Japan. I've never, like I said, I'm totally uneducated on the Crow outside of the movies. I'm sorry to do that to you and admit that here, but being that this is my first introduction to it, I liked it a lot. I can't wait to see where else it's going. Like I said, some really cool artwork, and it really gave me that classic feeling of the Crow, of what I'm used to. So I'm giving this 3 out of 5 Nerd Skulls. Check it out.
Hey, this review is for Captain Marvel number 2. And as you will see in my Catwoman review, this one is kind of opposite of that. It started off slow and then picked up towards the end. The story is about Carol Danvers, and her plane crashes and she ends up time traveling. Instead of just crashing in a random place, she ends up crashing in a random time. She figures out where she's at and she meets up with this badass like military women's group, and they save her. At the end, Carol Danvers meets up with this extraterrestrial alien, and we don't really know what it is quite yet, but that's when the story really starts to pick up. Since this is only issue number 2, I'm excited to see where issue number 3 leads us, and I hope that we meet who these aliens are and things like that. So for that, I'm going to give that 4 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
All right, guys, I got to read Saga number 6 by Brian K. Vaughan this week, and I'm pleasantly surprised with this series. It's 6 issues in, and it's still going strong. It's still an amazing story. You're still finding out all these great, wonderful things about this universe that's been created, and it all makes sense. It all plays into something bigger. Just can't wait to see what it is. And the end of this issue is a great, heartfelt twist. You think it's going to be like this crazy, intense twist that's going to pull at your heartstrings in the bad way, like it did with the last issue. But this one, it's a positive ending. It's a really, really positive ending that kind of brought a whole new dynamic to the way the story is going to be told by the main characters. Cannot wait for what this is going to go on. Another 5 out of 5 Nerd Skull book.
All right, that's all the comic books you have to review for you this week. But until next week, check us out on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Nerdlocker.com for all the nerdy news. I'm Brandon.
And I'm Cubby.
We'll see you next week for more comic reviews.